It's Friday, baby, and what a perfect time for a better. We got March Madness, NBA, soccer, so much going on that we love. Let's get on into it and break it down. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. That's right, it's Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. Now we can look forward to our weekend. It's March Madness. What a perfect time of the year we've got going on here. Let's go ahead and make sure we recap yesterday to be fairly quick. We only made one bet yesterday. As you guys remember, we took Rangers on that money line, and they did not come through for us. They ended up tripping us up. You know, if you look at that box score and you think, oh, well, they lost 2-0, but they had 2 red cards, and you think, well, it's kind of a little unfortunate, a little bit of a bad beat. I'm not too sure. They actually got their ass kicked by Slavia Prague. Give Slavia Prague a lot of credit. They just had a really, really good performance. I mean, just got to give them the credit and tip the hat. They really limited to the Rangers, didn't let them do a whole lot offensively. I thought the first goal, the keeper should have done better. Can't really get beat near post there. So, I'd like to see him keep that ball out. But, Slavia Prague turned up on the road at a place where nobody has done it, really all season. And they got the job done. So just, congratulations to them as they march on, to the next round. Thankfully, though, FanDuel did give us the Spread the Love event with Michigan State. I think I saw that finished at about 150 points. So, yeah, great. Everybody's spreading the love for that event, so that was great. So we were able to be a little bit profitable because of that, putting plus 2 units in our pocket. So that now brings us up to the week as we move on into Friday and the weekend. We're up plus 8.98 units on the week. So sitting in a fantastic position as we now move on into the weekend. Don't forget, guys, ESPN March Madness, got that bracket going on. Go ahead, get on in there. I think I've seen now we're up over about 20 or so entries are in that contest now, giving away $75 to the winner of first place, $50 to the second place finisher, and third place will take home $25. So good money to be had out there, competing against all of your fellow supporters here on Winning Bets. So get on in that group. The name of the group is called Winning Bets. It's simple, it's easy, there's no password. It's on ESPN. Jump on in there and go ahead and compete and win the money. Don't forget, guys, at 2 p.m. Central Time today, I will jump on YouTube Live and make our soccer picks throughout the weekend that we've been doing. Just really love enjoying and hanging out with you guys. We'll be at 2 p.m. Central Time on YouTube Live today. You can go ahead and look for that. As for soccer, let's just talk about Champions League here for 30 or so seconds. How about that? How about the draw? Bayern versus PSG and City versus Dortmund. And those two matchups are also in the top half of the draw. So, the winner of each of those games will then go up and play each other. That's going to be really fascinating. I assume Bayern will beat PSG. I think they're a little bit more, efficient throughout their starting 11. And I assume City is going to beat Dortmund just because of how just clinical City is in terms of, keeping it, tight up on the back end. So I assume it'll be Bayern versus City on that top half. But boy, the two teams that are licking their chops right now are Real Madrid and Chelsea. Real Madrid drew Liverpool. I know Liverpool has been turning up in the Champions League, but it's hard to, flip that switch. And they have been, Liverpool team has been struggling. And it's hard to keep flipping that switch and be positive as you keep progressing this tournament and you're facing better teams. And I think Real Madrid is definitely a better team than Leipzig. So it's going to be harder for Liverpool. If they come into that tie still struggling on form like they have been lately, I think Real Madrid will be handed to them. Then Chelsea's sitting there just licking their chips. They were the one. Everybody was looking at Porto saying, I want Porto. And Chelsea was the team that drew them. Chelsea should certainly move right on past Porto. And then, Chelsea versus Real, I think you'll get... This sets up for maybe an all-English final, which is, I think, what we got. What would we get that? A few years ago when it was Tottenham-Liverpool, if I'm recalling correctly. What was that, 2-3 years ago, the all-English final? I think you could be getting that again. Like you could get a City-Chelsea final, or maybe Chelsea-Bayern is maybe how that could unfold it. But either way, really looking forward to the Champions League action when it resumes in a few weeks. Just got some really good ties there, mainly, as I said, in that top half of the draw. As for the Europa League, United drew Granada. That was probably best-case scenario for them. So I think Granada, they're mid-table in La Liga. So hopefully my boys can progress right on past Granada. All right, let's keep the conversation going here on soccer. There's one Premier League game today. It's Fulham versus Leeds. I'm going to go ahead and take over 9.5 shots on target, and that comes in at plus 110 over at DraftKings. So love the value of it over 9.5 shots on target. On the season, Fulham's averaging 3.6 shots on target per game, and Leeds is averaging 5.2. Obviously, well aware that that doesn't equal 10, but you kind of, as we've talked about on these basketball props, the sports books aren't giving any freebies and gimmies out there. You kind of just got to find a number, and then what's the advantage that maybe you think it'll cash? Well, this bet has cashed in the last 3 head-to-heads. And those last 3 head-to-heads have all had different score lines. You've had a 4-3 game, a 3-0 game, and a 2-1 game. So it's been able to cash in 3 straight head-to-heads with just a variance of what the score and what the outcome could be and how the game could play out. So I really like that. Obviously, we know Leeds is attacking. I know they've got some injuries and they've got some question marks with some of their strikers coming to this game. But I mean, it's just their style of play will lend them to have shots on target. So if you look at Fulham, let's take a minute and look at their remaining fixtures. They're sitting in 18th place, and they're still 2 points from safety. So if you look at their remaining fixtures, they've got Villa, they've got Wolves, they've got Arsenal, they've got Chelsea, Burnley, Southampton, Man United, and they've got Newcastle. I mean, if Fulham's, looking at that fixture list, and they're like, damn, we can probably realistically only get points from Newcastle and Southampton, and everybody else is probably going to beat us. I mean, they may be able to squeak out like a draw maybe against Villa or maybe a draw against Wolves. But, I mean, the way Arsenal, Chelsea, Burnley, and Man United are playing, I don't see them getting any points from those. So if you're Fulham and you're looking at the fixture list and then you look and you see you're at home against Leeds in this fixture, you've got to go for it. You've got to go for it. Your Premier League life, is at stake here with those mounting games going, and you've got to start getting points. And you just don't have many opportunities going forward to get a lot of points, in my mind, based on the fixture schedule. So this is one where they just got to be full on attacking. So I think while they've only averaged 3-point shots per game, it'll lean more towards what their recent head-to-head trend is of cashing. Because Fulham's, they just got to go for it. And then if you look at the Leeds team, they've conceded the 5th most goals in the Premier League this season. So it's not like, they're going up against a great defense. We know how Leeds is kind of open and aggressive. So while they go and get it, they'll also, be leaky on the back and they'll give them up. So this should be a great opportunity for both of these teams just to go at it, have a good run at each other, have good spells of the ball, and hopefully get some shots on target for us, because we'll do over 9.5 at plus 110. If for some reason you don't have that option at your sports book, over 2.5 is probably a good bet in this game. Both teams to score is probably a good bet in that game. So there's a couple ways that you could pivot if you don't have the over of 9.5 shots on target available to you in that one. Let's go ahead now and flip it over to the association. We've got some good action going on in the NBA tonight. There's one really good player prop that I love, and it's in that Kings versus Celtics games, and it's Jason Tatum over 25.5 points at minus 115 over PointsBet. If we look at that Kings defense in the last 14 games, they're number 30th in points allowed. They're number 30th in field goal percentage allowed. They're number 30th in field goal percentage allowed above the break. They're number 21 in field goal percentage allowed in the mid-range. They're number 30th in defensive efficiency, and they're number 25th in field goal percentage allowed to the small forward. And Tatum has cashed this bet in 4 of his last 5 games. He should cash it another one based on all these stats and based on how he's used within that Celtics offense. So let's go Jason Tatum over 25.5 points and minus 115 over a PointsBet. If we go ahead and look at the next one here, we're going to go ahead and look at that Warriors versus Grizzlies game. We're going to go ahead and take Valanciunas over 15.5 points, and that's minus 110 over a FanDuel. Look, the Warriors' defense in the last 14 games versus centers is bottom 5 in the league in both points allowed at 26.1 points and also field goal percentage at 70% field goal percentage. So this should be a game where he certainly get to 16. They've actually lowered his number here a little bit. This game does potentially have blowout potential. That's the only worry. But I just think even if the game does get to blowout, he could be able to get to 16 points. This isn't, a crazy high number where it's up in the 20s. 16 points is certainly doable even within a blowout. I could see him grabbing a bunch of easy offensive rebounds and getting some putbacks. I mean, look at this Warriors team. They're not going to have Wiseman in this game, which is their best center, even though he doesn't start. They start Looney, but Wiseman is far and away the better of the 2 centers. They're not going to have Pascal, so they should want to go to him, Valanciunas, in the paint just due to the Warriors' struggles, defending the centers. But even if, like I said, he should be able to grab some easy offensive rebounds and subsequently get some putbacks. So I like Valanciunas. I'll take the risk even though it's a blowout because it's not a crazy high number. It's only at 15.5. So let's go Valanciunas. You've been good to us. Let's do it for one more time. Staying with that game, I'm going to go ahead and take Grizzlies -9, and you can find that at -110 over at FanDuel. I went ahead and already grabbed this early because I think it's only going to get worse because, like I mentioned, you got no Wiseman, you got no Pascal, and Curry and Oubre are both doubtful coming to this game. And Curry and Oubre are doubtful, or if they end up not playing, I don't see how the Warriors keep it competitive. I mean, that would be 4 of their 5 top scorers missing from this game if you don't have Curry and Oubre. So I have no idea how the Warriors would be able to get points, how they would be able to compete. Obviously, if Curry and Oubre end up playing, I'm not going to really be a big fan of this -0.9, but I'm going to trust the people who say that they're doubtful. Trust the fantasy labs on Twitter. They've been usually spot on, with their injury prognosis. So I'll trust them. I'll trust that these guys are going to go ahead and sit out and not play. And if they sit out and not play, I mean, the Grizzlies should just have an easy go out of here. So I only think the -9 will only get worse. And certainly if you wait to see if Curry and Oubre are going to be out of this game, that number is only going to get worse. So I'll take the risk. I'll go ahead and jump on it now and hope that they don't play and the Grizzlies can cruise to a nice easy victory. I am going to go ahead and do a Moneyline Parlay for basketball tonight. I'm going to go ahead and take the Grizzlies. Let's all on the Grizzlies. Let's go all Grizzlies all in. I'm going to go ahead and parlay the Grizzlies with the Grizzlies, the Celtics, and the Magic. The Nets. The Nets are playing the Magic. I'm going to take the Nets. So we'll do the Nets playing the Magic. We'll go and take the Nets. The Celtics are obviously playing the Kings, like the Kings in that matchup. And then obviously the Grizzlies are playing the Warriors. And I did that plus 105 over a points bet. Yeah, I just don't see the Magic competing with the Nets. We've talked about the Nets. They're the best team in the Eastern Conference. Celtics should pull out a victory over the Kings. That one potentially has the potential to be close, but I think at the end, you're looking at a 5 to possibly 7 point win margin for the Celtics. So that's where I see that one falling. And then again, I think the Grizzlies are just gonna go ahead and blow out the Warriors. They're at home. Just a lot of missing pieces for the Warriors, so not too worried about there. A couple other things I'm eyeing for the NBA slate. I'm eyeing possibly tailing Christian Wood. His number isn't up yet on any of the sports books, but as soon as that comes out, I'm looking to grab all over it. They're going up against the Pistons. The Pistons team that we know just doesn't defend the 6 feet, the 10 feet, the paint area. They're just no really good at that. And if you look at Christian Wood, in his first game back, while they did put him on a little minutes restriction, he only played 26 minutes. He got 21 points. Yeah, folks, he shot 66%. This guy is super efficient. He's, give him a couple seasons, he'll be talked about one of the top centers in the game. I think Christian Wood is really good. He's already really ascending to be one of those top centers in the game. So I'm not scared. Like I said, 21 points in 26 minutes. I think he's obviously only going to get his minutes are only going to increase. So just waiting to see what his number comes at and could possibly tail Christian Wood. The other thing to possibly do is to fade Brogdon and also maybe fade Holiday there. The Pacers here, they have a tough matchup going up against the Heat. The Heat are one of probably the top 3 defensive teams in the league across all the stats that you go ahead and look up, and they really shut down these two positions there with Brogdon and Holiday. So just a little undecided. Holiday's number was at 10.5, which is kind of iffy, and Brogdon's number is at 19.5, which he averages 23 points. So the sportsbooks recognize that he has a tough matchup, like I'm talking about. So they brought his number already down. I just don't know if how much have they already brought it down? Do they already? That actually just makes me a little nervous. So may fade one of those two players. And they also, the other thing I'm kind of thinking of doing, and I know this is sound crazy, and you're going to go, what the hell did he just say? Rockets -2.5, folks? Maybe. And the thing about maybe is waiting to see if John Wall is going to play. If John Wall doesn't play, don't want any piece of that. But if John Wall plays, then you got John Wall, we got Wood back, and we got Oladipo back. You're starting to get the band back together in Houston. And I know it's crazy. You don't have to tell me how many games in a row that they've lost. Well aware of how many games in their loss. But let's be honest, the Pistons are not a good team in their own right. Rockets at home. Again, they went on that terrible losing streaks because they didn't have Christian Wood. They didn't have their best player. So, yeah, a lot of teams aren't going to lose 18 in a row like the Rockets did, but they're going to lose a fair amount of games. The Rockets were atrocious in that stretch. But, yeah, like I said, if you're getting Wall back, you're getting Wood back, you're getting Oladipo back, let's just wait and see. I think that Rockets -2.5 could be really appealing there. And the other thing I'm going to look at in that game is Jerami Grant. He's just a scorer. The Pistons, that's all they have is Jerami Grant. So I may also look to tail Jerami Grant and his point total of over 23.5. let me go ahead now and give you guys my 2 answers for the Fox Bet Super 6 quiz show where you can win $10,000. For question 1, I'm going to go ahead and say Martin Truex Jr. has the fastest lap in stage 1. I've kind of already broken down this whole race there on our weekly NASCAR show that we do for a chance to win $35,000. So you guys know I have Martin Truex Jr. finishing second. He starts on the front row. He should have a nice good run of it, at least earlier on. So go ahead and give me Truex Jr. to have the fastest lap in stage 1. And then for number 2, how many higher seeds will lose? I'll go ahead and do 8 plus. And this is what I've got. I've got Creighton losing. I've got UVA losing. I got BYU losing. UConn, Clemson, Tennessee, Ohio State, Florida, Texas Tech, and UNC. That's 10. So even have a little bit of breather room in case not all 10 of those lose. So I'll go ahead and say 8 plus. There'll be 8 plus higher seeds will go ahead and lose on this opening round of games. And that's how we'll do it, guys. Don't forget, 2 p.m. Central Time. We'll look to join you guys on YouTube. We'll break down this weekend soccer slate. We'll go ahead and get our bets in on the whole slate. And then, as always, look for me on Twitter in case I want to pull the trigger on any more of these bets that I've kind of mentioned that we're kind of keeping an eye on to see what the numbers come in at. May pull the trigger there on a little bit more. Otherwise, guys, enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy March Madness. You guys know I won't be giving you guys any bets, but I know you guys will be getting in bets, and I'll always be pulling for you guys. Hope you guys are successful. Enjoy the tournament. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday's show. We'll count up our profit and kick off another week. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.